Football Uncut.
It's the first edition of the Football Uncut podcast after the start of the new season. Yes, the 2025-2026 Football League season all over Europe. Yes, most of the major leagues all over Europe already started a few days ago, and this is going to be the very first edition of your favorite podcast, a football podcast. Yes, right here, talking about the Football Uncut podcast. Yes, we will be looking at some of the major teams, the major sides, most especially in the EPL, and we'll also be looking at the big two, or let me say the big three, in the Spanish La Liga in today's episode of the show. But quickly, before we go deep into it, let me really welcome my co-analyst onto the show this lovely day. DK Alpha, waiting the sub. Your chest is not too really, they not too show on the last weekend.
Now so if now so football the be, it don't happen. And looking at me on the show, I'm really not feeling too good because we have to draw that match. Go at all. I wasn't expecting that from Chelsea, but with the coming season, with what we are going to play, I know that something great is coming.
Do you know the most interesting part of that draw for me? Is a reflection on most of the Chelsea fans all around. It's humble pie small. Even yourself on set today. Look at how you do humble.
Honestly, we're not expecting that result. I expect it. We know they expect them at all. Because coming to that match, Chelsea has led back. And even when we even start the match, that badge coming where they show for Chelsea clothes, we lose our only.
It looks like say na go just step on Crystal Palace. Na go just trample on them.
But football, now why is the most interesting sport?
Una no dey remember that one before na go start to dey run una mouth na Chelsea fans. Abeg make una no vex o, but we just get to talk am the way it is. Una sabi run una mouth well, especially since when una don win that World Club Cup.
If we no be like that, how football want it sweet? Why don't we sweet now?
Anyways, and it is not all about Chelsea on today's episode. Let's go straight into the business of the day. Yes, the league already started. That's no longer news. So all of the big teams, all the supposed big teams in the EPL, all have their matches during the weekend. It all started with the defending champion Liverpool. They defeated Bournemouth 4-2. At a point, it was looking as if that match was going to end in a draw. Even despite the fact that Liverpool took a 2-goal lead, then Semenyo came back and they struck them surprisingly to equalize them 2-2. But at the end of the day, Liverpool, they dug deep. Kesa came from the bench. He scored the third goal before Mohamed Salah sealed it completely for the defending champions. Then Manchester City, they took goals right in front of their home fans. They obliterated them. They scattered them. 4-0 in that match. Tijani Reinders was absolutely exceptional, and is really showing that it's come to the Premier League to prove a point.
That guy is a better player.
No doubt about that. And of course, the Chelsea, Crystal Palace
champions of the world.
Okay, if you like, the champions of the world, they couldn't score a goal at the end of 90 minutes, even with all of the Pedro Neves, with all of the Delap scoring goals at plenty from the World Club Cup to the preseason games. Now the season don't start. They couldn't even find the back of net, not even once. They spoiled ticket yama for that weekend. But that's another topic. That's another topic on another side. And the big one on the Super Sunday was between Arsenal and Manchester United. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Arsenal looking a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing.
But at the end of the day, they did enough to claim all 3 points to start on a winning note. Of courtesy of that, a little bit fortuitous goal. From Cagliari Fiori to end them that lone goal win. So On today's edition, we want concentrate on who which of these teams, judging from the way they started, judging from their first match of the season, which of them is really looking likely, yes, to end the season well. Who do you think say go end the season top? And who do you think will just try but will not be able to win the league? Which of them do you think will disappoint completely? Yes, there's still so much room for improvement. But from what we saw on the opening day, if we are going to drop conclusion from what we see from the opening day, which of this team do you think will really end up with? Let's start with the defending champion. From what we saw from Liverpool, DK, what will be your conclusion, or what do you think about Arne Slot and his side?
First, I will give kudos to Chiesa because he has been wanting to score a Premier League goal, and kudos to him. He came and proved something right in that game. But looking at their performance so far, I still say that defense. I don't know, coming from 2-0 down to Bournemouth equalizing, he has to work on that defense.
And before the start of the season, many of us have been so concerned about their defense.
So they have to really, really work on their defense. I don't know what Konate and Van Dijk have been doing in the recent games. They need to work on that defense seriously.
Is it about them not doing enough, or is it just so clear that they need help from the bench?
To my own analysis, when it comes to defensive transition, you understand. That sometimes that in a defensive transition, it's better for you to play on a very low block. That sometimes that in the defensive transition, there can be 4 against in the attack, 4 against 3. And if you look at the Bournemouth second goal, I think in the attack, Bournemouth was having like 3 against 2, which caused them the second goal. So in the defensive transition, Liverpool have to work in very, 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 very well.
On that note, Konate and Van Dijk, any of them they at fault? What is any of them fault for that goal? Was that second one?
Looking at the second goal, there's a problem that Van Dijk will get. He like to the shadow mark. You understand? He's an experienced defender and he's a very calculative defender. But there's sometimes that you don't need to
shadow mark too much.
Yes,
you need to go for it.
Yeah,
and tackle, throw in the tackle.
Go for the.
Instead of keep allowing the attacker make it the entire domot.
Exactly. So I feel that if they have either Konate or Van Dijk attack
the attacker, I'm talking about
Semedo, I think it will be a different situation.
Yeah, they could have averted the danger.
So I think they need to work on that defense.
Okay, on overall, let's see. Make we assume say the Liverpool team remains like this all the way from what you saw from the first game. What do you think say could happen to this team at the end of the season?
I think Liverpool should be finishing first or second.
Even this way?
Yeah, even this way because they have a good attack. Finishing this way.
Because the bookmakers before now don't talk say. In fact, I saw a poll of pundits to vote for out of all the top 4 from the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Manchester, Arsenal, Chelsea. That where do you think each team? Who do you think will win? And where do you think all these teams will finish? And almost all the pundits,
they pick
all of them picked Liverpool.
Liverpool said they don't be small team now with the addition they don't add to that.
I guess now because of say like the defending champion.
Definitely. And look at everything they played in their last match. You know too bad. So you can give to them that they will finish first, they will finish second. So anything will happen.
So meaning they are not condemned to add anything or to change anything in that team. Even with the way they are, they feel go all the way. They can still win the league like this.
Definitely, if they can manage their defense. But if they will manage their defense, you don't finish. And certainly, even without no addition, they can still win that.
They don't no need of an extra attacker, no need of an extra defensive cover.
Like this, with their first game, as we said, they will win the league. Either first or second, they should be having it.
Yes. So, what do you make of the team that finished second in the league? Talking about okay, before we go to Arsenal and Manchester United, because it was probably the last big game for the weekend. Manchester City, it was as if Pep Guardiola and his army, they came with they came to prove a serious point. Like they really want to convince that they've bounced back fully. That performance, that result, is it convincing enough? They don't convince us enough. Say make we forget wetin happen last season. Na just one of those things wey they are ready to go all the way for it.
You don't really be like. To me, you don't really be like because Wolves is not enough test for them. Honestly, Man City, Wolves, the difference. No be so now. So it's not enough test to really prove that. But looking at how they play so far, Man City at least they have something to prove this season.
With what we see from that Man City team, many of us agree that part of their major problem last season was their midfield, their aging midfield. Their midfield has not really been up to par. The likes of the Point, the Gundogan seems not to really have the leg and to run things again in the midfield. But with what we see from one of their new signings, talking about the man from AC Milan, Tijani Reinders, and coupled with the fact that a certain Rodri is still not back into the fold yet, and will likely come back, and it's given that he's going to come back with his full form. Still feel say this Man City might be too hot to undo and should be firing all the way.
First of all, make I give 2 goals to Guardiola Gbawole. Man, when it comes to player profile, Gbawole. Because I don't know what some teams miss in that guy, that Tijani guy, Tijani Riders. I don't know why people miss him. Because when it was AC Milan,
why everybody was talking about Florian Wirtz, he quickly this fit to that man.
Gbawole Guardiola, Gbawole tó pass ẹ̀wù. So looking at the way Man City played and everything, I think they should be coming strong, and they won't really miss Rodri if Rangers keep playing like this. To me, I really feel they won't really miss him because looking at the way Rangers play, I think he has been playing that team for a very long time, and I'll give kudos to Pep Guardiola. That man Agbawole, although I don't really
to like him personally, you understand.
But as a football analyst.
But you need to give kudos to.
Yeah, to the truth has to be told.
That man intellect when it comes to football.
And Tijani is under the right manager. He's going to play very well under the right manager. And Man City, as a whole, if they can keep up this form like this,
Doku seems to continue from the same way where he finished last season. His productivity, his end product has always been questionable. For that match again against Wolves now, he still seems to say, he still struggling to really produce something magnificent.
Doku, I think Pep has to give him a lot of confidence.
Is it a matter of lack of confidence, or the guy just does not have it?
No, I feel that Pep just has to give him that confidence. And bro, you can do it with the shit. If you do
with the rate, the amount of playing time where they don't give this guy, I think by now we shouldn't be really complaining about not building. He should have built his confidence more before now.
I think you just have to Pep has to just work on it.
Yeah, if you left to me, if you really want to ask me, I would say it's time for Pep to start working on alternative from that wing.
He wants to sign Rodrigo now. He wants to sign Rodrigo. But that's if Savio they come out. If they go Real Madrid.
It's not even a must. It's not even a must. Rodrigo comes in before he works out an alternative from that wing. I think Czeki is a very good attacking player. I think Guardiola can work something out of him from that wing. And there's also Foden. If Foden can really hit back his form, he can also do it from that left hand side of the attack.
What can we say about Foden? This recent games, he don't drop. What thing is up?
Foden is yet to play a game this season. He didn't feature. I think he's still out injured for now. Until he comes back, and let's see what he's going to offer this season. If he can really get his mojo back, I feel say he replace Doku better from that left hand side, because when he is on his A game, he's got better end product than Doku, who just do all the running, all the power play, but at the end of the day, he ends up firing blank. And okay, overall, what do you feel say fit happen to Man City? Do you think say they go improve drastically on what we saw last season, or perhaps even wrestle back their title from Liverpool, or you think say they go still end up struggling just like we saw last season?
Maybe they look at their previous records. We can't rule them out at all. We can't do that because of the manager they have. So overall, I think they are also to be competing for the league, either first, second, or third. They should be in that role, definitely. No, anything. First, second, or third.
Before now, I think from our previous editions, we all agree. In fact, you said it precisely here that if anything that stops Maresca from winning the title, it should be shown on the way out. He has started almost in not in an unimpressive mood, playing a goalless draw right inside Stamford Bridge against a Crystal Palace. Yes, a Crystal Palace that have been so looking really formidable in recent time. It must be said. We saw how stubborn they could be when they played the Liverpool in the Community Shield, and we also how they scored a goal and locked up shop against Manchester City in the FA Cup final. But even with all of that, you feel say Maresca can still lead this club of Chelsea quality signings. It must be said, because if out of the teams that you go give it to during the transfer market, Chelsea, if Chelsea is not number one, maybe they should be number two or number three. You feel say Maresca will do enough to lead this team to glory, especially in the EPL this season.
Well, Enzo Maresca, we Chelsea fans, we still believe in him. We know what he don't do for Chelsea so far, and we feel say now.
What he don't do?
Look at our record now.
In winning the glorified principal cup.
Thank you.
And he win just that the World Cup
cup.
A new creation, a new something where they just a new invention that left some of the most informed teams. No, let's go there anyways.
Make anything be there. We go be there. As long as you don't be that PLC, make anything be there. They go chop am.
No.
They go chop am.
What you go share to now this season? Now don't start with a goalless draw. Now no fit score one thing.
Doesn't mean now. It doesn't mean.
Okay.
We start poorly. Maybe say now we said go collect am.
Okay.
Yes.
We
and for Enzo Maresca,
we
just we believe in him. Say he go collect that Premier League for us. Because of the past 5 years now, I think going well. For the past 5 years now, I think going well.
Okay, be analytical now. From what you saw in that game, with the way Chelsea played, do you think it was they did enough? They showed signs of champions. They were just rather unfortunate not to break the deadlock.
Honestly, tactically, we don't really do great. They do well. We think when they play on the low block. I don't know what you can do. Whether maybe we use charm, they play with all those things when they play low block. But I don't know. But looking at what we played, it's not looking so convincing that we can win the league. Because at the end of the day, although we lost some chances, but it's not looking really convincing. To be very objective, that performance is not really too convincing. Say that performance could fit win the league. So, but I believe in Enzo Maresca. I believe in her. I believe in her.
With what Estival showed in the second hand when he was brought into the team. Do you think they convinced enough for us to say make the include in the starting lineup? And for who do you think should depart the starting lineup for him?
Looking at the Sabio performance, coming in, he showed a lot of promising attack. His 1v1 situation with those defenders was very fantastic. And I think the coach to give him more starting ahead of Neto, or probably make Neto go play the other side, and let's look what Esteve can give us in the first half too.
Okay, so that means if Neto goes to the other side, then Gaetans, what happens to Gaetans?
Whether you should stay for the bench, maybe you see the watch as England football TV. You understand?
For waiting he do that game now, he thinks benching him is not a mistake.
No, not really because Gibson no really keep us waiting we want for that match. Now the first Premier League match we bought. Look at Estadio sef. Na the first Premier League and Estadio give us something that we really want because he show cohesion in attack. He was so aggressive also in the attack. So I think Enzo Maresca should just try it in the next match because we can't take out Neto what create. We know it. We know it.
Arsenal immediately they made one or two signings, and but the biggest of them all was Gokeres. The moment they announced the signing of Gokeres as their point man for this season, everyone was like, finally, Arsenal has gotten what it takes to get over the line. They started yes on a winning note, but was that performance and that result does it really commensurate with our huge expectation? Say they perform reach the level of expectation, or you think say it is still going to end up as the old Arsenal?
If Arsenal play like this continuously, they no fit reach anywhere because first make I beg give kudos to Man U. I was not expecting that performance at all. I was not expecting that.
You were not expecting a performance that saw them lose at home from Manchester United.
Because if you look at that match, Manchester United played well to me.
What's your definition of playing well?
Because right from the attack to the midfield, they were showing so promising. Even with the ball, without the ball, they were looking so promising. Instead of Arsenal defense, it will be a different result.
Arsenal's defense is part of the Arsenal team.
We'll just no give kudos to Arsenal defense only because Manchester United play very well that day. No lie. It's just that they are so unfortunate. They have few times that they're supposed to convert now. It just happened that Arsenal defense was just very good.
Talking about converting chances, we have one or two new signings that everybody were looking at how they're going to fare in that game. Gokeres on one side and Zubimendi on one side for Arsenal, and we saw Kunya, Ubeumu, and later on Sesko came in. But first and foremost, was it really the right idea for Amarim to have started Sesko on the bench?
Well, I feel that he made the right decision because Mount really played well. He made them look as if they don't need a striker in that match. Mount really played well.
What about Kunya that led the attack, that played the striking position? Did he do enough to convince us that yes, it deserves that role?
Definitely because Kunya really caused Arsenal defense. He really caused them a lot because if you look at the way he played in that match, it caused a lot of problems for Arsenal defense. And I'll give him kudos to
how will you rate how you want to rate Ubeumu on the day?
Bemo said he really tried, like looking at his first match, and he's not also new to the Premier League. He also played a very good game that day.
And Sesko coming in from the bench, did he offer enough to really give us to show that there's still better days ahead?
I won't really use that match. I don't go use that match judge am because in terms of service he wasn't getting it. But even Gogeres also wasn't getting a lot of service. But Gogeres showed a lot of aggressiveness and physicality in which Sesko needs to add to his game. If Sesko dey do your for England, you need to show physicality because that's what Premier League takes. You need to have physicality. Although he was short of service, the ball was not getting more to him, but he needs to show aggressiveness and physicality.
And part of Gokeres, yes, they were very short of service, but the Gokeres really tried enough to assert himself on the game that day.
Well, what I'm really happy about Gokeres because he showed a lot of like a striker presence in there. He gave the light a lot of problem in terms of physicality, the holding of the ball, even the pacing of the ball. He showed a lot of physicality, but you just need to get more service and more goals into that thing. That's all.
Talking about Gokeres not receiving enough service, Sesko not receiving enough service, but the truth is, it is still this same setup, Arsenal setup, and Manchester United setup. that will really be servicing these guys at the end of the day. It's not as if there's still one player, somebody coming in that is not there that will help improve the service for either of the team.
One might just feel that their service not getting because the teams know the kind of striker both of them are, so they need to contain them for them not to get that service. Because if Warriors get like 2 or 3 chances, definitely it's a goal. Definitely Sesko too. If you get 2 or 3 chances, it's a goal. So I think they contain them very well. More contain that. That was happening in that match.
On the evidence of waiting we see for that first game, waiting will happen to Arsenal. Where will Arsenal likely finish at the end of the season?
They will finish 50 if they continue like this. And 50 they will finish.
Fifth.
Like Barolo.
They've been finishing second in the last 3 seasons.
If they continue like this, 50 they will finish.
What about Manchester United? You talked about Manchester United really showing signs of improvement. They played better for you, despite the fact that they lost in front of their home fans. Yes, the famous Old Trafford. But on the evidence of that, where you feel say they will finish, waiting will happen to Manchester United at the end of this season.
If they convert their chances, definitely it's a promising season for them. At least they will finish third or second.
From 15th last season.
Yes, if they continue like this.
Okay, on the overall level, let's say, because I don't want this year to be too lengthy. On the overall, how you want to take summarize the start of the EPL season?
Looking at all the matches so far, it's going to be a very long season and make everything Mura because this is one of the best season in the Premier League because looking at the transfer
business of almost all the big teams.
Almost all the big teams. It will be one of the most interesting years so far, the most interesting season in the Premier League.
Chelsea has complained about Nicolas Jackson leading the attack for them for a long time. But finally now they have two well-profiled strikers in Delap and Pedro. Now is this time people really want to see what they can do even with the inclusion of these guys. Arsenal now has Gokeres, Manchester United has Mbeumo. A lot of and even Manchester United, Man City that have really complained about their midfield. Now they have a Tijani Riders and a Chelsea to bring in something new into that their midfield. So with all of this, what type of season should we be looking at?
A beautiful season. A competitive season.
Highly competitive
season. Not like last season. Last season not really competitive.
Like Liverpool had it too easy.
Yes, they had it too easy. We should be expecting a competitive season. Especially Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man, even Tottenham. Tottenham, they had a very good game.
Okay, finally, a summary of the Spanish La Liga, which also started during the weekend. Before we go, Barcelona, yes, although Mallorca went the two-man down, but they defeated them 3-0. Real Madrid them out to labor to a lone goal win, courtesy of a 51-minute penalty from Mbampe. How will you? Atletico Madrid too. Yes, they lost to 2-1. I think during the weekend. How are we going to summarize the start of Spanish La Liga, and how with all these big side, the big three now, how would do you think they will be faring on the evidence of their preseason and how they started the season now?
Looking at it, I would say Barca will win this La Liga
easily,
because Madrid struggled. Atletico, they don't even know what they're up to. Barca already know where they're heading to. They already know. They are balanced already. Madrid are just struggling. They don't even know. They don't even know what is missing. They don't know what needs to be added. I don't just know. And looking at on paper, they have a good team. Madrid have a good team. So I don't really know. They have to work it on their board. And that's to take Alonso, to figure that out.
More is still to come on Football Uncut, and the season just started. I'm telling you, it is really going to be a bumper pack edition, an episode for you as the season continues. The Spanish La Liga, the Italian Serie A. We are still also going to really talk about what Rashford, how Rashford is faring, or how he's going to fare in the Spanish La Liga in the Barcelona team. Because if you really want to ask me, in that game against Mallorca, I will say I don't know he's looking like he has no business in that Barcelona team. But it is still early days, and again, you can't judge him from that. But he came in.
He go play for La Liga.
He came into that game when the game was almost a dead rubber, not really on the competitive level again. So, but all of that is still to come on football or contest subsequently. Yes, thank you so much for enjoying this episode, this fresh episode of the show. Till we come your way and next time for another very fresh episode. Yeah, DK, let's say our guys before we go.
Football lovers, like beautiful Chelsea fans, this season is going to be a beautiful season, a competitive season for us.
Now only your Chelsea fans you could greet. Other football fans no be human.
I said football fans too now, football lovers. So this season is going to be a beautiful season. Let's sit down, relax, enjoy. I beg, if you want to watch ball, make your girlfriend not disturb you. You understand? Enjoy the game. This season be a beautiful season for all football lovers. Thank you.
And for you to enjoy this season the more, yes, just continue to subscribe, follow, and yes, and share Football Uncut podcast, and let us add the spice to your season. There's no other better way, yes, for your season to be a very, very entertaining, super exciting one than for you to follow this lovely football platform. Till we come your way again, just like I said, for another fresh episode. Continue to enjoy the best of football.